Today we're going to be creating a super cute little Frankenstein treat box for you. And we're going to do this actually with our scallop tag punch. So what I'm going to start with today is I have got a piece of, just a regular piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. And I've cut it right in half, kind of like we would for making an A4 card. So right now it's 8.5 by 5.5. Now, the only thing I'm going to need to do for this is I'm actually going to need to cut off just a 1/4 inch. I think that was it. If it's not, we'll see it at the end. So I'm going to cut that 1/4 inch off. And so for this one, ignore my little pin here. I should actually move it. You can see the first one is here. Maybe this will help you do the measurements. So we're going to start off with our first score line at 1 1/4. And then from there, you can see from here, my next one is going to be down at 3.5. So I'll jump to 3.5. So then I'm going to go another 1 1/4 from this. So that's going to take me to 4 3/4. And then this section here, if you can see it right now, is actually 1 2 1/4. So I'll go from here, 1 2 1/4. And that takes me over here to 7. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm actually going to slide it right into my scallop tag topper punch. So I'll move that off to the side, and I'll show you how you're going to do it. All I do with mine is if you actually push it in, you'll see that it goes kind of right through. And what I can do here is I can make sure if I can see either one of my score lines, I've gone too far to one side or the other. But if I line it up so that I can't see either one of these two score lines, I'm perfect. I guess you could also kind of check up here at the top, because you could also see there kind of where your little score lines, make sure that they're kind of balanced evenly. And so from here, give it a punch and then pull it out. And you'll see that I've got my first part of my tag topper punch done. So now I'm going to do the same thing down on this one. And now I'm good to go. Now we have one last score to do. So I'm going to take it back to my board. And here, all we have left to do at this point is we're going to score it. Actually, I'll turn it this way so you can see it. 1 inch from that bottom edge. I'm going to take the grooves that I've got from the little scallop tag topper, and I'm going to line them right up with that track that's the blade's going to go through. Using my dart blade, which is my cutting blade, I'll cut through to the score line there, come back over here to the next score line, cut. It actually lets go right there, which is nice because it hits the bump where the tag topper is. And those 3 pieces just come out. And then in the bottom, all we're going to leave on the bottom is the ones that, make sure I'm in the tracks here, close over. What else we got? You. So I'm going to take these guys right out of the mix. I'm actually going to use my paper snips for this. I'm going to go in and just remove that from it, and I'm going to take that guy out. Oh, I thought I got that, but apparently I missed it. Remove that one, and then we'll take, do that one very well either. We'll take that one out. Okay, so now we've got it to here, so you can see how the box is actually going to take shape now. So now I'm actually going to use my red sticky strip. If I were at home, I definitely would have grabbed my fast fuse for this. I'm not at home right now, I'm away, and I totally forgot to pack it. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to overlap one side over the other. So this side here, if you're using sticky strip, I apologize for my sniffles. I've got this lovely, the fall cold. We're going to run right down there. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom, just one of them. Don't need to do it on both because one's going to glue over top of the other. Now, if you have fast fuse, so quick. It just makes this job really painless. So now I'm going to just get rid of those two. And I'm going to take this one right over top of this one. Just make sure that they line up nicely. Don't get any nasty edges. Okay, so that part's done. And then I'll do the exact same thing with the bottom. Now, I've used Old Olive cardstock for this. So you're actually going to grab your Old Olive ink and we'll just sponge the sides now. So with my Old Olive ink and just one of the Stampin' Sponges, I am going to just go and do all of the edges on this, but I'm not going to make you sit and watch this, so I'm going to speed it up for a minute. Okay, so now I've got him all sponged. Don't worry if your ink appears really dark when you first start. It does lighten up. Okay, so now I'm going to use my 1-inch punch, and I can even use those scraps that I cut off, and I'm going to cut one eyelid. Let's see if this one's big enough. Oh, can she do it? Probably could have just got out more paper and not been so cheap. Anyway, okay, so here's my eyelids. But what we're actually going to do for this is we're going to use a Post-it to put our eyelids back in to cut off some of them to make it appear much more like an eyelid. So I've got these little flag Post-it notes that I end up having everywhere in my house. And I'm going to put one onto here just so I can hang on to my paper. And I'm going to go back in just like this. And you can see I'm kind of just going to take out a little chunk. So now I get more of an eyelid shape. Okay, so now we'll do the same thing with the other eye. Slide in here. Okay, so now we've got two eyelids. Oh, that looks really creepy. Okay, and so now I'm going to use my just Whisper White cardstock. I want two of the exact same thing. Don't stress if the paper you're using is not quite 1 inch wide because the tops of your green sections can cover that up, so it's not a huge deal. So then we've got those two, and I'm going to sponge those eyelid covers just a bit. Okay, so we've got eyelids, we have eyeballs. Now the next thing I need to do is using just some of my basic black. I am going to punch 2 more circles, just using the little 1/2 inch circle punch. Okay, so get those. 1, 2. And I'm just going to use my snail to put this stuff together. So I've got my green eyelid. I'm going to keep my green fingers off of it. Slide that down. Put them on. Take my little eyeball. Slide that in. Okay, so we've got one. I'll do the same thing here. Oops. Where's that little? And then all I'm going to do, just to kind of finish the eyes, if I don't stick them to myself first, is I'm going to use, if you have a white Signo gel pen, if you have, I'm just going to use a Stampin', like the chalk marker, and I'm just going to put a little white accent off in the corner of his eyes, just to kind of give the illusion that he's looking in a specific direction. Now I'm going to jump back in with that same 3/4 inch circle punch that we used. Oh no, we haven't used that one yet. Okay, so I'm going to use my 3/4 inch circle, and that's going to be for the nose. I'm going to try not to get myself covered in green again. Okay, so with these, I'm actually going to grab just my dimensionals, and I'm going to stick my nose on first. Kind of decide where, I'm going to put his nose right there. Okay, and then I'm going to take my eyes, and there's one. And 2 there. And then all I'm going to use for the arms on this one is I'm actually going to use my word window punch. Okay, so I've got the old style of word window punch. So I'm going to get 2 of those. And then I'm going to use my blossom punch here, and I'm going to make 1, 2 of this flower. And then using my paper snips, I'm not going to give him 5 fingers, or sorry, 6. I'm going to take 2 of these out. We're going to kind of turn it into a little hand for our monster. Take 2 more off of this one. Okay, so now I've got the 2 little flowers minus 2 of their sides. Again, I'll sponge them. Okay, so now all I have left to do is I'm going to attach these little hands. So I'm actually going to use some glue dots for this part. Okay, so hang on. Here we go. I'm going to put it down like this, and then I'm going to kind of just bend his hand around his body, and then I'll grab, or he'll grab, literally, okay, another glue dot, and we'll throw his arm around him like that. And let's make this easier. I want to put the glue dots on before I attach the arm to the body. Okay, so then we'll do another one here. Okay, so we have a couple little things left to do. Now, I'm not going to put these on until I have got him, oops, that's the wrong side, until I've got him holding his ticket. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to use the That's the Ticket stamp set, which is this guy right here. And we're actually going to choose the little one that says Happy Halloween. And I've just got a little piece of basic gray cardstock, and I'm going to use my Memento black ink. Okay, so here, got that guy. Ta-da! Just double check your bottom side, make sure you're covered, all good. Okay, so I'll stamp that on my basic gray. Awesome. And now I'm going to grab my coordinating ticket punch, and I'm going to slide that bad boy right in there. Okay, so now I've got my little ticket, and I'm going to use just some snail on my ticket, and I'm going to put that little ticket in his hands. Now all we've got left to do is we've got those little blossoms. So what I'm going to do with my blossoms is I'm actually going to use, let's see if a dimensional is too big for the back side of these. Should fit. Okay, so I've got one here. I'll just put it on because you can't see his hand, like his arm, so it's okay that it's behind it, but it looks like he's got a little hand there. So I've got one. Do the other one. Okay, snail that one down. There we go. Okay, so now he's holding that. Now the only thing I felt like he was missing is a mouth. So I'm actually going to get, and no, I don't need a lot, just get a little bit of your basic black cardstock. This is perfect. And all I'm going to use for this is there was the Tasteful Trims die that we've had out for a couple years that's awesome, and I love the little rickrack one that's down here, so I'm just going to get a chunk of rickrack. Okay, so I've got my little piece of rickrack here, and I'm going to glue it on. Now I just have to decide. Oh, I could go long. That's cute. Or I could go short. Okay, I'm going to go short. Let's go. Oh, we go medium. Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Now I totally want to give him eyebrows. Oh my. Okay. Well, sorry. Now I got all giddy and excited. Happy mistake. Okay, so maybe I should make his, no, I can't make his mouth that short. Okay, so what we're going to do, it's holy squirrel. Okay, so I'm going to put my snail on this. Just make sure when you do it sometimes on your silicone mat, you'll see it. So just tuck it back in. So I'm going to give him his mouth. Now I'm going to make it work a little off kilter, not quite straight. Okay, I totally think he's starting to look like Cookie Monster to me. Okay, so I'm going to get one more little bit of that rickrack. Okay, I have to do this. So what we'll do is I'm just going to use those 2 tiny bits, and I'll give you a comparison. You can decide whether you like eyebrows or no eyebrows. So here is our dude with, oh my God, he is hilarious. So cute. Okay. And then the other gentleman is missing his mouth. And let's do you like that. So now you can see both. Here is no eyebrow. Here is eyebrow. But you get a great idea of how to create this little Frankenstein treat box using your scallop tag topper. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you again next week.